Okay, so now we are at 4:01. We'll begin. We have with us our speaker, Mr. Ranford Neo. He'll be sharing with us 5 steps to gamify a learning process by diverse learning. Ranford, please.
Thank you so much, Jaren, for the introduction, and was great. I mean, for the earlier chat. So welcome everybody. So thank you so much for coming over on a Saturday afternoon. I mean, there's 101 things you could be doing right now with your time, but you chose to come here to attend this symposium and to learn something. And thank you so much for actually joining in for this session. I know there's many other sessions going on concurrently, but I think if you are here, I believe it's a topic that you would like to learn about. So I'm very happy to share with you what I've prepared. And all of you are actually in for a treat, because this is something that I'm sharing it. This is actually something behind the scenes, all right? Something that I've developed, and I don't usually share this in public. But thanks to, because of the requests from the organizers, and because I'm also part of the SYEA community, I thought that this would be an interesting topic to share with everyone, specifically for educators, teachers, if you run like a enrichment school, if you're looking to find out ways on how you can improve or to engage people or your students in a deeper manner, this is something for you. All right, so let me see if I can share screen. All right, let me see, entire screen, application window. Okay, so I think this is how it works. Jaren, are you there, Jaren?
Yes, I'm here.
Am I able to just share the slides?
Yes, you are. So if you click the share function, you're able to see you can share your entire screen, your window or a tab. Yeah, so I think you can click onto window, then you'll see the slides that we've already opened up. Yeah.
Okay, let me try that again. Okay, great. Yeah, because it's much better this way.
Yes, great, we can see it now. Yes, it's in full screen mode, thanks.
Okay. So when I'm sharing my screen, I can't see the chat, and I can't see the responses, yeah?
Yep, no worries. At the end, towards the end, it will be a Q&A. 15 minutes before you close your session, I'll help you in terms of reading the questions out. Yep.
Okay, that'll be great. Okay, so if that's the case, let me just share screen. Okay, so so much once again for coming over. So I'll be sharing today, 5 steps to gamify a learning process. So for those of you who just stream in, welcome. Thank you so much for coming over here on a Saturday afternoon, and I'm really excited to share with you what I have prepared. Okay, so this is just a quick content outline of what I'll be covering. In the interest of time, I have so much to share, but with this is actually the outline of what I'll be covering. Of course, I can't go in depth, to explain every single point, but I'll be covering the probably the gist of what is today's topic all about. All right, and then of course towards the end, I will have some Q&A. Right, Q&A. You can ask me any questions, and then at the same time, I think you can just drop in some questions that you have, or anything that can come to your mind, while I'm sharing, so that probably I can just pop in to have a look from time to time. Right, I try to be I don't want this to be like a one-way street. I hope for this to be a bit more interactive and engaging session. I'll do my best, all right, due to the limitations of the platform. All right, but from time to time, I'll just pop in to see what are the questions that you have, And then if there's some things that might need more time to address, I can handle it at a Q&A. But if not, I will actually, I've actually put my contact details at the end of this presentation. So you can reach out to me even after this session. Okay, so basically, I'll be covering, really shortly, who I am and what I do. A lot of y'all, this is a virtual symposium besides Singapore. I believe a lot of y'all also come from all over the world. So I just want to share with you really quickly, who I am, what I do, so that you kind of get to know me. All right, and then before I go into the 5 steps or the 5 steps on how to gamify a learning process, I'll be sharing with you a bit about the differences between gamification versus game-based learning. Right, and then to wrap it up, I'll actually be sharing a quick case study, on a game-based learning strategy or an implementation, of a game-based learning strategy, for your reference, and then for you guys to have some ideas of how you can actually do the same as well. Okay, so let's begin. So who am I? So my name is Ranford. I'm from Sunny Island, Singapore. Okay, I am a published author of 2 books on entrepreneurship, and I run my own business, all right, education business. I'm a speaker. I enjoy speaking, and of course, due to because of COVID, right? We get to now we are speaking virtually. So just imagine that right now, I'm supposed to be on stage, speaking to all of you, but hey, we can do this now. So it's wonderful. All right, and I'm also an educator. So I really love teaching. I really love imparting knowledge. I really love helping others, to succeed. So my personal vision is really to effect positive change and leave a lasting legacy by creating a better future for society and the people around me. All right. My personal mission is really to educate, and equip and empower, or actually how do I do this, right? Is to really educate, equip and empower individuals through education and storytelling, right? And my goal, or my what I really hope to achieve, is really to build the next generation of learners, leaders and educators, who will do the same and pay it forward. So it's something like a ripple effect. I don't believe in the people always say, oh, there's a trade secret, there's like something like really 保守的秘密 in Chinese say, a really top secret stuff you can't share. For me, I really believe in sharing. Sharing is giving, and I really believe in helping other people succeed, because by doing that, you yourself will find success. Yeah. So just to share with you my story, all right. So for me, from a very, very young age, I've always been very passionate about entrepreneurship. Yeah. So to give you an idea, how passionate I was, right? At 18 years old, okay, so in Singapore, at 18 years old is the legal age to incorporate your own company. So at 18 years old, I was really, really excited. I went to incorporate my own company, and my first business that I did, I was actually selling. I wanted to do like a selling of children's clothing. All right. So what I did was I went to at 18 years, I went to school. I went to the entrepreneurship center. I shared with my lecturer. I said, hey, I want to start a children clothing business. I want to what's that? I want to sell children clothes to parents, make them happy and things like that. So the first question my lecturer asked me was, Ranford, where is your business proposal? What is your SWOT analysis? What's your USP? For me, at 18, 19 years old, I didn't know a damn thing about all this. Okay, for me, my idea was very, very simple. Parents love their children. Yeah, they love their. They want to get the best for their kids. And my role is just to get children's clothes, good quality, affordable price, and then to help them solve a problem. Yeah, that was just as simple as that, but I didn't know it was so complicated. Okay, so I was actually I was a bit discouraged, but moving forward, what I did next was I actually did a flea market business. So flea market back in Singapore in 2008 to 2009, the flea market trend was there. So what I did was I collected pre-loved items or second items, and then I took a booth, and started to sell. All right, so that was my kind of like my first stint, in my entrepreneurship journey. Yeah, and it was really great because that was the first time, I made my first pot of gold. Yeah, I through this example, I always share the concept of infinite ROI, because all these things that I collected didn't have any cost involved. Yeah, but I managed to sell them, make a profit, and that is kind of like the concept of infinite ROI. Yeah, so with that, I went to the army, and then what came about next really took my life to the next level. So I came across this idea to publish a book. Yeah, so I've learned when I was much younger, I went for a lot of personal development seminars, and I learned I don't know, you name it, I've learned it. Property investment, stocks and options, website marketing, affiliate marketing. I've learned everything, but this idea stuck to me, the idea of writing a book. Yeah, so I thought to myself, hey, this is a brilliant idea. It kills two birds with one stone for me. Yeah, I get to learn about what entrepreneurship meant to me once and for all, and then next I got to become a published author. Yeah, so I launched my first book. So to cut a long story short, I know the book publishing journey is another story for another day. But to cut a long story short, I published my book when I was 21 years old. My first book, self-published author. Even before writing a single word, I actually raised more than 15,000 in terms of sponsorship. Pre-sold more than 500 copies, and with this book, I'm happy to share that this book opened many doors for me. Yeah, I was invited to speak on platforms such as TEDx, was invited on radio stations, Night Trade Live, Night 7, to talk about my book publishing journey, talk about my entrepreneurship journey. And from here, I managed to publish my second book. All right, so second book was actually an internal publication for Temasek Polytechnic. Yeah, and that was actually quite an interesting journey as well. Yeah, so all these experiences, or all this what I've been through for this really taught me that it takes time. Yeah, it takes time to kind of figure out what you really want to do. And fast forward to today. Yeah, I run my own education company called Diverse Learning. So Diverse Learning, we actually our tagline is actually reinventing learning through games. So anything that has to make learning fun, interactive, and engaging, we will take on. And we actually have our own flagship product, all right, that helps people to learn. A really, really interesting product I'll be sharing. I won't let the cat out of the bag, I will share it with you towards the end of the segment. All right, and then I also run Story Academy. So Story Academy, we actually train, mentor, and coach aspiring solopreneurs or freelancers, all right, who want to start something of their own but don't know where to begin. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at now. And the reason why I'm sharing with you taking some time to share with you my story and share with you why I do what I do, or is because or who I am and why I do what I do, is because it's not to impress you, but to impress upon you, that like what I mentioned earlier, it takes time, yeah, for us to really figure out what is it that we want to do, what is it that we are passionate about, what are some of the values that we hold dear to our hearts, and then what's the impact you want to make in society. So in my early 20s, in my 20s, I had the chance to try a lot of things. Yeah, and I'm also very, very grateful, very privileged that my parents from a young age, they didn't restrict me, like say, Ranford, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you got to study hard, go and work, things like that. So they gave me the space to go and explore and find out what is it that I like, what is it that I didn't like. And at the same time, from a very young age, I knew that I didn't want to work for people. Okay, so the 9 to 5 really doesn't suit me. So what's next? So I really had to go through trial and error, through making a lot of mistakes, through failing forward, failing fast, and really going through a lot of challenges, right? In other words, they call it the University of Life. Yeah. All right. So that I'll be able to be here where I am today, knowing what is it exactly that I want to do. Okay, so I hope this story inspires you, because I believe in this room there are a lot of business owners, aspiring entrepreneurs, and more importantly, there are a lot of youths, not only from Singapore but from all over the world. So I hope my story is able to inspire you and to let you know that you're not alone, and don't be afraid to try, don't be afraid to explore, and don't be afraid to really just give it your best, because it's not the outcome, or it's not the outcome that matters, no, but it's really the process. And on hindsight, looking back, it's really comforting to kind of seen how far I've grown, all right, in this 10, 12 years. So I'm actually coming to my 30s. Okay, so in the 20s, I got to explore, many different things. But in my 30s, it's time to be focused. So for me, I'm very passionate about three things in life. Yeah, I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship, I'm very passionate about education, and I'm very passionate about youth. So that's the reason why I'm here today, to share with you my knowledge, and hopefully, you'll find it beneficial. Hopefully, you'll find it useful. And I'm always happy to take questions. I'm always very happy to help you along the way, and feel free to reach out, because behind this suit and this formal shirt, I'm just like each of you, a human being, having 24 hours, blood, heart. Okay, I think you got a message. Okay, so that's about me. Come, let's jump into today's topic. 5 steps to gamify a learning process. Okay, so before I go into the 5 steps, let me set some context for today's topic. All right, and the context I'll set would be this thing called gamification. All right, gamification versus game-based learning. Yeah, so I think a lot of you might be interested in, or have come across, this thing, this thing about learning through games. So what's the difference? Excuse me, between gamification and game-based learning. Okay, so I've went through a lot of articles, research, and I think this one, I found this resource the most succinct, right, which is able to sum up what's the difference between gamification of learning and game-based learning. So gamification, right, of learning is about taking a whole activity, all right, and our learning process, and then change it, or convert it into a game, right? Whereas game-based learning, all right, is about using a game as part of the learning process. Yeah, so gamification of learning, some of the things I can think of, would be things like Duolingo. I'm not sure if any of you here in this room have used Duolingo before. It's a language app, where you get to learn about languages, and it's so cute. You get to, after you learn a language, you track different levels. They give you like level up, give you star, give you a lot of a lot of perks. Yeah, and maybe like some other examples would be like fitness apps. Yeah, fitness apps. So that's kind of like the gamification aspect of learning, right? Whereas game-based learning could be things like Monopoly. Yeah, I've heard of people using Monopoly, right, to teach about property investment. Yeah, for some of you who have read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Yeah, so in his book, he mentioned that his rich dad actually taught him about real estate and property investment through Monopoly. Yeah, so it's through a game that you get to learn topic, or maybe something like Pictionary. Yeah, you get to draw something, and then play. And from this, you get to learn different skills. All right. So at this point, I'd like to, get a participation of all of you from the room. Now, maybe can you type in the chat and share, what are some of the examples, of gamification of learning or game-based learning that you have come across before. Okay, so let me reduce my screen. I can see all of you. Hi, Jonathan. Yes, there'll be a real case study towards the end. So no examples. If there's no examples, I will proceed. Yeah. All right. But you can keep in mind, some of the ideas. So these are some of the examples that I've shared about gamification of learning or game-based learning. Okay, so with that, these are some, when you think about gamification of learning, think about badges, think about accomplishments, level ups, quests, yeah, missions, so this is kind of like the gamified way of learning. You have all your achievements unlocked, your what do you call that? Level up, different badges. So actually, come think of it, actually Grab is also using a bit of a gamification of learning. They want you to become a gold member, platinum member. Okay, but that's besides the point. So any gamification of learning is about moving forward. Yeah, moving forward through a game, right? And then of course in the process, learning something as well. Okay, what else? Game-based learning, right, is to teach a specific skill or a concept that you have to convey. Okay, so usually it's in a form of a game. Usually it's in a form of you have some specific learning outcomes that you want to achieve, all right, from using this game. Okay, so gamification versus game-based learning, both are trying to solve a problem, motivate and promote learning using game-based thinking and techniques. Yeah, so that's the most powerful way of learning. The most powerful way of learning is through self-discovery. Yeah, it's through self-discovery. Instead of a one-way or a lecture style kind of approach, and then for you to cram all the knowledge that you want your lecturer or teacher to teach, game-based learning or gamification of learning, both are able to achieve the outcome of self-discovery or self-learning. Right? You get to learn, in other words, learn through playing. Right? So that's the whole mechanics or the whole idea behind playing through learning. Right? So I hope this gives you a better understanding of the difference between gamification versus game-based learning. Okay, so let's jump right into the 5 steps, all right, on how to gamify a learning process. Okay, so the first step is really to define the problem. Yeah, so define the problem is asking yourself, through what's the problem that I want to solve? Yeah, who is it that you are helping? Yeah, are you helping students? Yeah, to learn, I don't know, math, science, communication skills. Are you trying to help adult learners, learn things like coding, marketing, what other things, that you can think of, what is it, who are you helping, what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Yeah, is it trying to solve or trying to communicate or trying to help people to learn about the concept of blockchain, cryptocurrencies, some of the things are why is it that what's the bigger problem that you are trying to help your learners or help others understand. Okay, so that's the first step you have to take note of. You have to define the problem. Okay, so after that, you have to chunk down, all right, this problem into specific learning pointers. Yeah, so for example, let's see if we can think of an example. Maybe we can think of entrepreneurship. Yeah, okay, so entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship is a huge topic. For example, maybe I want to teach students how to learn or teach students specific traits, specific entrepreneurial traits, things like resilience, tenacity, I don't know, selling skills, presentation skills, negotiation skills. Yeah, so that's how I chunk it down, from entrepreneurship, to kind of defining the problem, in entrepreneurship that students face, and then chunk it down, to more specific things that I want them to learn. Okay, so that's about step one. All right, defining the problem, identify who is your target audience, who are you trying to help, who are you serving, all right, what problem are you solving, and then of course chunking the problem down into more smaller bite-sized pieces so that you can identify some specific learning pointers. Okay, so the next step is to determine the learning outcomes. So before that, after identifying the problem and then seeing what is the specific learning pointers, convert these learning pointers into learning outcomes. Yeah. So what kind of game, can help teach this skill or concept? Yeah. How would playing this game ensure that the learning outcomes are met? Yeah, so let's use back the example. So because personally for me, I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship, right? So if I talk about entrepreneurship, it kind of comes to me naturally. So let's say we are teach students, about entrepreneurship. Maybe let's say secondary school students. Yeah, secondary school students probably they'll be like 13 and above, 13 to 16 years old. Yeah. So the problem is, is that people are not. The problem is that students are not aware, how to start something of their own. Yeah, for example. So what are some of the key things that we want to inculcate in all these students for them to kind of find out what are the things that they need to start something of their own or their entrepreneurship journey. So we have things like presentation skills, communication skills, selling skills, negotiation skills, maybe even critical thinking and decision making skills. So these are the from problems you are able to or learning pointers, you're able to convert them into learning outcomes, and then from there you have to decide what are the activities that can allow your participants to learn this skill or concept. So what kind of game could these participants play? Do you want them to go on a quest, to start their own entrepreneurship or start their own little mini business? I'm not sure if any of you have played this game called Lemonade Tycoon. Lemonade Tycoon, is kind of my childhood game. We start with a lemonade stand. We start to buy raw materials, build. And can start to build a lemonade empire. Would that be a game? That you want to start for these secondary school students, or do you want to use a different approach to teach about a specific topic like selling skills, negotiation skills. So this kind of like the second step you start exploring, defining what are the learning outcomes. Okay, and then the step, of course, is decide. Okay, gamification or game-based learning. So like what I mentioned to you earlier, from step 2, you'll be able to identify from the learning outcomes, you'll be able to roughly have an idea what kind of games will be suitable to convey or to teach this skill or concept. Excuse me. So from there, you have to decide gamification or game-based learning. So coming back to this example, of teaching entrepreneurship to students, do I want to do a quest, or like kind of like a mini activity or a competition or a I don't know, bazaar, and give them points, give them a leaderboard, put up a leaderboard. How do you want to measure who becomes the winner? What are the prizes to be won? So this is like kind of one way you can think of gamifying the whole learning process of entrepreneurship. Or the other way would be game-based learning, whereby you identify specific problems that you want to tackle. For example, selling skills. What kind of game that I could bring in? So over here, take note of this point that in step 3, you do not have to develop a game on your own. In step 3, this point, you can actually bring in existing games, and kind of tweak it a bit so that it can fit your learning outcome. Yeah. So for example, if you are gonna you want them to learn about teamwork. Just an example, maybe you could get them to play or strategic game, or you want get them to practice strategic thinking. To get them to play things like saboteur, yeah, for example, so that they can start to make decisions, start to see who are their teammates, start to see how to strategize. Yeah, so these are just some examples I just thought off the bat. Yeah, or if you get them to play things like Monopoly, for example, yeah, to teach them the process of buying, selling. Yeah, so these are another way of thinking how to convey or how to deliver a message or a skill or concept through game-based learning. Okay, so the fourth step, okay, is this thing called is the point where you design the game. Yeah, so design the game, you have to define, what are your game objectives. Yeah, so if it's gonna be a gamification, you define what is game objective, game rules, how will the players win the game, what would the players learn while playing the game. Okay, that's one. And then how will they or what's their takeaways, after playing the game. Will they become a change person, who they are before playing the game, and then after that, what is it that they can learn after playing the game that will stay with them for a long time, or will your game be a physical game, or will it be a digital game? Yeah, so that's about designing the game. Okay, so like what I mentioned earlier, step 3, you can always take in an existing game, right? To bring an existing game, but what would set you apart, as an educator, as a business owner, or maybe just if you're someone who's just very, very creative, would like to teach, or you're someone like me, who's very passionate about education, creating your own game would help you stand apart. All right, and of course, you're able to customize it so that you can be more specific in terms of addressing the learning outcomes that you hope to achieve, as compared to using a ready-made product. And then the last step, all right, in this process is what I call develop a curriculum plan. Yeah, develop a curriculum plan. So how can you expand, on the learning outcomes and develop a curriculum plan? Yeah, so sometimes it's not about I believe out there in the market there's it's a lot about playing, ha ha ha, and then laugh after you forgot everything that you have learned. So what is it that you can cement, or what's the additional layer you can enhance to help you further solidify what you intend to teach, or the specific skills, concept, or learning outcomes you intend to convey. Yeah, so incorporating a game, into a training and or a lesson, is what we call experiential learning. Yeah, so it includes theory, right, plus practical. Yeah, theory plus practical. So developing a curriculum plan really will help you to create more depth for your students, for your participants, for your learners, so that they can know that besides just playing a game, or a game as a standalone, you have something to take them to the next level. Okay, so at this point, maybe let me just do a quick check-in to see if there's anything on the chat. Okay, looks like we're good. Okay. So right now, I'll be sharing with you an actual case study, all right, that we have done. right? And this is really behind the scenes. All of you are really in for a treat, because this is really I'm really sharing with you the thought process, right, behind how this game came about, and then exactly the 5 steps of what I've just shared put into practice. Okay, so this really will help you to see from another perspective how to develop a game of your own. Okay, so an actual case study is this personal finance board game that our company has created. All right, so this is actually our flagship product. It's called the Asset Finesse board game. All right, so for those of you who have played Cash Flow 101 before, it's similar to Cash Flow 101, except that this one is Cash Flow 101 teaches about passive income. Yeah, ours we focus more on the accumulation of net assets, and ours is a more has a more Singaporean context. We cover things like CPF, baby bonus, HDB, more localized context, whereas Cash Flow 101 is more US based. Right, so this game is actually invented in 2014. It's created by Singaporeans, for Singaporeans, and it's been played by 1,700 participants to date. Right, so the whole vision or the whole goal of this game is really to empower Singaporeans to be more financially literate. All right, of course through playing games, through education, through experiential learning. Yeah, so I mean, for those of you who have not heard of Cash Flow 101 before, just imagine this is like Monopoly. All right, but this is like the advanced version of Monopoly, teaching Singaporeans about personal finance and money management. Okay, so what's the problem that we have identified? Excuse me. So what's the problem that we have identified? Sorry, excuse me. Okay, so what's the problem that we have identified in Singapore? All right, is this thing about financial literacy? Yeah. We all agree with me, that money is a really important part of our daily lives. Yeah. So I believe you all will agree with me. Money is something very, very important. So if it's not managed well, it could form a huge stressor, for our day-to-day living. Yeah. There's actually even a very famous local production called Money Not Enough. Yeah. Or in Chinese it's called 钱不够用. Yeah, that talks about some of the money problems typical Singaporean face on a day-to-day basis. And I believe some of you might have heard, things like all these conversations before, things like, I don't know where my money disappeared to, at the end of the month. Yeah, I don't know where all the money that I've made, where did it go? Yeah, so this was actually the main problem that we have identified, and this is the problem that we wanted to solve. Yeah, teaching or more empowering, Singaporeans to become more financially literate. Yeah, through playing a game. Okay, so from there we actually thought of what were some of the learning outcomes. What are some of the learning outcomes we wanted participants, or we wanted players to be able to acquire? Yeah, or what are some of the skills or concepts that we wanted the people who were going to play our game be able to learn? All right, so these are some of the learning outcomes that we have defined. All right, so things like, by playing this game, they'll be able to improve, in their decision making, analytical and mathematical skills in money management, be able to learn different components of a financial plan, such as income, liabilities, expenses, cash flow. So if you have played this game, the asset finance game, you'll know that there's actually this financial statement. Yeah, it's really like the one that your financial planner go through with you, the financial statements, your assets, liability, your income, things like that. Yeah, and of course we also incorporate, a bit of the Singapore lifestyle framework, the National Pension Scheme, called CPF. In Singapore, we call it CPF, the Central Providence Fund. Okay, and then how it can actually help with your asset building, yeah, in the Singapore context. And of course, making calculations and be able to record them on a personal financial statement. Yeah, so these are kind of some of the learning outcomes we wanted to achieve. Yeah, and from there we decided that a game-based learning approach, yeah, would be more suitable to convey this message. So in this game is quite interesting. You know, this game is like a Monopoly. So you have a few different cards. Okay, we have the small capital and large capital cards. That's for players to acquire assets. Yeah, so there we focus a bit on sort of more dominant or more prominent assets types that we focus on in this game is things like stocks, bonds, and unit trusts, properties, and businesses. Yeah, so in this game, your objective is really to acquire as much assets as possible, and then the person with the highest assets. Okay, so basically the game, how to win this game, right? This game is actually for 13 years old and above. Yeah, 13 years old and above. And then how to win this game is to acquire a certain number of net assets, and then the person who achieves this goal will be the winner, and then the game will stop. Okay, so this game is suitable for parents and their kids. 13 and above. You know, I've got my youngest player is actually 9 years old when she played this game. My oldest player is actually 85 years old. Yeah, so things like asset accumulation is something that we incorporate in the game. Yeah, we have expenses cards, what I call domestic cards. We have commercial cards. Commercial cards kind of like it's like the power cards to change the game, and we have the economy cards, you know, to demonstrate the movement in the economy. Yeah, so through a game-based learning approach, we get to stimulate what is it like of a typical Singaporean. Yeah, so all of them will start as employees, you know, and then along their journey in life, or in other words, while running through this game, they'll pass through paychecks, they will experience some of the life events, you know, they'll get opportunities to buy assets, you know. What will they do? What they do in each step is what a game-based learning approach or this game intends to achieve. Yeah, so some of the game objectives include, like, you know, to encourage the pursuit of financial literacy, basic money management concepts. You know, like what I mentioned earlier, it stimulates real-life situations relating to one's financial planning. Okay, and of course, through the game we introduce some basic investment products and the risks involved in investing. Okay, so these are some of like the pictures of board game sessions that we run regularly for people to kind of play the game, to learn. Okay, and of course the last step, okay, is what we call developing a curriculum plan. Yeah, so if you remember this step, yeah, develop a curriculum plan. Okay, so we actually expanded on the game, all right, and we developed a full-day workshop, on-site workshop called Financial Competence for Modern Singaporeans. Yeah, so it's actually a full-day workshop to kind of expand on what is being taught in this game. Okay, so to summarize, right, in the interest of time, you know, I won't go into detail what this workshop covers, right? But to summarize, it's actually broken down into 2 parts, right? We have to have a total of 6 modules, you know, 2 parts. The modules 1, 2, and 3, you know, covers an overview, you know, of what personal finance is. Yeah, some of the components of modern personal finance. So how does personal finance change with the eras, and of course, teaching a bit about designing the asset portfolio. Okay, and modules 4, 5, and 6 covers uniquely Singapore lifestyle programs. So we talk a bit about how to tap on some of the uniquely Singaporean, uniquely Singapore national lifestyle programs, things like CPF, IRAS, HDB, Enterprise Singapore, Skills Future, and how you can use it to enhance or optimize your wealth building journey. Yeah, and of course, towards the end of the game, everybody will, towards the end of the workshop, everybody will play the asset finance game, you know, to kind of consolidate everything that they have learned. Yeah, so this is actually the curriculum they're done. So let me pull up my screen. Okay. Yeah, so really quickly, just let me show you, this is actually a full day workshop, to the curriculum to kind of address each of the learning outcome, that we want to, or the enhanced version, okay, or an expansion of what we hope to achieve while playing the game, right, and more, through a curriculum. Okay, so if you can see, it's very, very detailed, and each point is really addressing a specific learning outcome. And through game-based learning, it will really be able to help participants solidify what is it that they want to learn, or what is it the concepts that they, how do I put it? The concept that they want to, or the concept that we want to convey, will be solidified, right, through this workshop, right, or through the curriculum. Okay, so so this is just some pictures, okay, for this full day workshop that we have done. It's called Financial Competence for Modern Singaporeans. And with that, I'm good on time, I believe, Viren, right? With that, I've come to the end of my sharing session. And I hope that this case study will be able to show you, the 5 steps, that you can actually use for your own business or use for yourself to gamify a learning process. Okay, so I'm good. So let's, are there any questions for me?
Yep. Thank
Or
you,
Jiren, you have
Ranford.
any question for me?
No questions, but any of these games are like Singaporean made games, and then you like to share
Come
Singaporean
again?
companies, the games that Singaporean companies have made that has been beneficial, or you're teaching or sharing about these games. Maybe a
So
list of
far,
them.
so far, I have seen a few games. Singaporean ones, there was one, let me think. I heard about this game called Wonga Mania. I'm not too sure whether if it's invented by
Yeah,
a
is.
Singaporean. Wonga Mania, I think is quite interesting or similar concept. But for them, I think they don't create games to teach, as in specifically to teach. I think it's more for kind of fun and then learning along the way.
Yeah.
So other games I would think of, Monopoly lah. Monopoly is the big one.
Okay. I think the Singapore edition, we have the Singapore edition for Monopoly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, great. Any questions from the audience? Yes, the game is invented by a Singaporean. Yep, that's right. Monga Mania. I think they have other things now like Debzilla, etc. Yeah.
Hmm.
Any other questions?
For the questions, I have to. Oh, I look at stage. No wonder I
Yes.
kept looking at the. I kept looking at the event page. So I was thinking, there's no
Yeah.
there's no questions. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, Ranford, do you have anything to share? Last words, for these entrepreneurs.
Yes. Okay. What I'm doing, I'm looking back at the Jivan. He mentioned about Duolingo, great for learning language. Agree. Cash flow quadrant as well. Yeah. Good. Yeah, Michael, Wonga Mania. Awesome. Okay, so I was at the wrong page all this while, but no worries. Okay, so I think the last, my parting words would be about continuing to give back. I think Christine has a question. How do you make a game successful? Teaching mental health literacy. And what are the games recommended for those who want to get better in their financial knowledge? Okay, got it. So I'll answer Christine's question first. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's about how do you make a game successful. At the end of the day, it's about using the product. Yeah, so to give you an example, for asset finesse, if it's we actually have made this game a long time ago. If we were not, for example, if we are not actively promoting, excuse me, or getting people to use the game or play the game, it'll be just a white elephant sitting in the warehouse. Yeah, so to make it successful, you have to get more people to play the game, and at the end of the day, it's about creating a community, of getting of people who want to play a game. I want to play a game again and again. Yeah, so I think that's how to make a game successful. And then Jivan, what are some of the games recommended for those who want to get better ahead in their financial knowledge? I would suggest Cash Flow 101. Cash Flow 101 is a good game. Yeah, of course, you can try out. Okay, this is a bit self-promotion. I can try out our game, the asset finesse game, if you are in Singapore. No problem, Christine. Happy to answer your question. Yeah, so I guess the parting words for fellow participants here would be really about giving back. Yeah, for me, I personally enjoy giving back in terms of education, in terms of sharing my knowledge, in terms of parting a new skill. Yeah, so yeah, okay, so I'm looking at chat. I think Jivan was asking what's the name of the game. It's called Asset Finesse. Let me pull this. Yep. So yeah, so I think that's my parting words, Jaren.
Awesome. Thanks, Ranford. Thank you so
No
much.
problem. So I've got my last slide. Maybe I'll share my last slide before I wrap up. Okay, and of course, I think let's stay in touch. 1 hour is definitely not enough for me to share everything I know, and I think what I've shared is just really the tip of the iceberg. Like for each step, there's still a lot of things to go through. Yeah. Okay, so feel free to reach out to me. You can write to me at my email. Okay, for those of you who want today's slides, you can write to me. I will send a copy over to you. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Yeah, LinkedIn, or just check out our website over here. Okay, so with that, thank you so much, everybody, and thank you so much for your time. Yeah.
Thanks, Ranford. All right, so we'll move on to the lucky draw. Ranford, please you stop your screen share.
Oh, sure.
Thank you. Oh, maybe we take a photo first together. Okay. All right.
Which slide do you want me to put up?
Oh no, it's just yourself with you. Yeah.
May I put a slide then back?
Oh, because you put the slide, you become smaller, your screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Smile. Great. Awesome. Thank you, Ranford. Yeah.
Thank you.
May want to leave your LinkedIn or your website in the chat below, because you know, if Nita asking if the game is free, Louis asking when to buy the game. Wow, conversions ready. Yeah, this is a
Yeah,
good platform.
sure. Okay, let me put up my screen share again.
Sure. Yep.
Yep.
You may want to take a photo of a screenshot of this. diverselearning.com.sg.
Yeah, so the game is actually you can purchase it from our website. It's 118 Singapore dollars per set. Yeah, so this game, to answer Nita's question, we have private sessions, private events, private board game sessions, and public board game sessions. So it depends. Sometimes we run the public board game sessions complimentary. Sometimes it's a paid event. Yeah, so do write to me, and I can give you more details on when's our next session.
Perhaps you can do one with JCI.
They said yes, correct. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Then can invite all the participants over to play the game.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Ranford.
No problem.